hustlers are available. That's why we like to make the replay available for everyone. So, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, whenever you're watching this replay. I'm Jess from Socially Inclined, flying solo today. And we're going to take on content marketing. It's a bit of an open discussion with a little bit of a topic guidance. We're going to talk about content marketing. So anything for the people who are live, anything they're struggling with, from content creation to content brainstorming to content execution. I'm the content queen, so we're going to talk about that right now. I've been doing content. I actually was the person who started the content for Your Social Plan, and I was the content director all the way up until I guess I got this promotion to be like the face of Socially Inclined with Julie. So, woo. And now Riley says, yay, that's exciting. She's talking about the podcast. So for anyone who is watching this on replay, whether it's next week, this week, or next year, make sure you go to anywhere you listen to podcasts and look for the Get Socially Inclined podcast, or maybe there's no just Get Socially Inclined. And you'll find me over there talking about marketing tips, tricks, strategies. And I would love to have your review over there. And any kind of feedback is always appreciated. So Sherry has come forward with the first question or input. And she said, I think what I'm stuck on most, overwhelm in launching my new blog. All right. I only have 2 blog posts up, and it's taken me a long time to complete my first digital product, a planner course. Having to create blog content, start on Pinterest, and complete my product and funnel is so much. You're right. List is only 40. Yeah. Okay. So your list is only 40 people. Have no fear, because even if your list is only 40 people, if 30 people are reading your email, you're doing 3 times better than us in terms of open rates. So that's really what you want to look at. First of all, that's just a little bit of my 2 cents there. Yes, your list is small, but is it mighty? Because just like when it comes to followers, it's about engagement. And in emails, we judge that through clicks, not necessarily even opens anymore. And that is something that we have on our very near horizon here at Socially Inclined. So I just want to encourage you with that. Even if you just have 40 people on your list, make sure that you're focusing on cultivating really engaged followers or engaged readers. The other thing, obviously, that's a small list. So Pinterest is a great place. I'm glad you're using Pinterest. I love Pinterest. And I also feel like I'm really qualified to talk about blog overwhelm because I run all the blogs here at Socially Inclined for all the brands. So we have 2 blogs for Socially Inclined. We have a blog for Grit, Grind, and Grace. We have guest blogging for Grit, Grind, and Grace. We have blogging for the Socially Sweet platform, and we have blogging for our Shopify store. So we are looking at 5 or 6 concepts. And yes, honey, it's overwhelming. And the best bit of advice that I can give you is to think about your core stuff. And I'm going to try and disseminate that for you. So maybe you can make a little rough list that you can go forward and refine after this live training so that you can move forward. So you have 2 blog posts up. Ideally, I think you'd want to get closer to 5 or 10, but it's never too early to start putting out some pins for those blogs. So even if you just have 2 blog posts, that doesn't mean that you can only have 2 pins. I really, really am a big proponent of 10 to 20 pins per blog post. And the way you will do that is you'll just get different looking pins that kind of say the same thing, go through and pull out some highlights. If you give 5 tips for staying productive, and maybe one of them is to buy a pretty planner. you want to put that in a pen and then cue them to go read that blog post. So that right there, in your order of operations, would be to start by creating 5 for each. And then maybe next week you create 5 more for each and a blog post. I have no concept. I haven't asked, so I'll ask now. How much do you work on your business in a given week? Because obviously that's a huge variable for our audience as well, because we have some people who, they're side hustlers and they can barely squeeze in 2 to 4 hours on a weekend to work on their business. Obviously, making 40 pins for 2 blog posts and getting up 3 more blog posts and doing the same for those 3 blog posts will be a month-long endeavor for you in that case. Sherry, she says, I think you and Julie are both so helpful. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. So glad. Riley says, ooh, but the options for magnets to grow your list with a product like planners are amazing. That is true. That is true. Also, just like, I love the idea of a 5-point, 10-point checklist for how to be productive to opt in and grow your list. Make it real pretty. Sherry, you said you bought some things for us in the past. I don't know if you've been around long enough to know about our Take Action training and how we did like a 6-part series on creating that lead magnet. You can go back and see exactly how we created lead magnets, or you can go back and watch all of the replays from, it was just like in the last 3 months where we did ChatGPT training, and we showed you. You watch those and you'll know how to create like endless lead magnets. So I'd also put that on your to-do list. It might sound like creating a lead magnet used to be a very heavy human resource task. I have made probably 100 of them for not socially inclined, so for clients in my career, and it used to take between 8 to 20 hours, depending on how long it was. I can make them in about an hour and a half now with ChatGPT. And for those of you who maybe you didn't know, ChatGPT, it's not plagiarized. I think people just have a very big misunderstanding about the content that comes from there. But it is original, and you can even run it through Grammarly, check it through the plagiarism system. And every time we've done that, we actually did it live as part of those trainings. It passed with like a 97. I'm not even sure that I can write something from scratch that passes with that. And that's because it reads everything and it makes something unique out of it. So don't be afraid to use that tool, Sherry. That would be one of the big things I'd like to encourage you to do. In this day and age, you really would be doing yourself a disservice to not embrace and leverage AI and all of the magic and shortcut and time-saving goodness that it provides. Hi, Jate. Welcome. I'm flying solo today because Julie's working on something for the dashboard. Let's see. Let me make sure. Jess, 20. Oh my God. I'm going to add that to my new designs list of things to do. Awesome. Thank you, Riley. Well, wow. Last week, Julie's ChatGPT helped so much. Good. I've been playing around with it. I do have some time because I'm a caretaker for my mom. Okay, I totally understand that. Some weeks are crazy and some weeks I have time. Let's see. I hear the kids. And all right. Sorry about that. So yeah, being a caretaker, I'm not just saying this to be relatable, but when I started with Socially Inclined, just as like kind of a contractor on the side, that's where I was. And my work days were very, very different than they are now. because it would be come and go. So I can totally relate to that. And my best bit of advice, and you're in productivity, so maybe this is why you sell productivity and you don't need to hear this from me. But when it comes to having to work in the pockets, I do it differently now, right? Because I have kids. Fortunately, I have a nanny as well, but sometimes she's not here and I have to work anyway. You have to have a list, and it's got to be a chunked down list that you've optimized for pockets. So I have a list of things that take 15 minutes. I've broken it down. Like each task is 15 minutes, and maybe there's 20 tasks, 15-minute tasks to accomplish one big task. But that's kind of my little take on how to be productive, even when you feel like you have no time to be productive, because that is otherwise, if you're sitting there with something that's going to take an hour and you haven't broken it down, but you only have 15 minutes, then you'll just sit there and say, well, I don't have time to do it. And then you'll just never get anything done. So kudos to you. It is super difficult. It can be done. I did it, but it is very hard to be a caretaker and a business owner at the same time. So we'll be here cheering you on and trying to help as much as we can. Sorting out the order of operations, like you're starting to give me, is really what I need most, maybe. All right. So order of operations, you have 2 blogs. I would encourage you to work to having 4, 5, because the thing is if you get that piece of content out on Pinterest that starts creating click-throughs, and starts really getting some traffic, then you want to have somewhere for them to go. Yes, you want them to come and read that blog post, which will be there, but you want a little extra content, for them to click and see another blog post. So order of operations, maybe get 1 more blog post so you have 3, and then start making at least 5 pins for each blog post, and then work toward 10. And then as you can start seeing some traffic, and what's going to happen when you do it this way is you'll see that of the 10 pins, a few of them perform better. So as you go forward, let's just start there, okay? Get to 3 blog posts for your blog. All right. And I haven't really talked about, in that blog, you must have a CTA. You need to be capturing them right up front. Join my email list for a 30% coupon on this beautiful Pinterest, or this beautiful productivity planner. So make sure that your blog posts are for nothing, because if you put that blog post up there and it does not spur people to opt in or to buy something or to get involved with you in some way besides social media, you're wasting your time. So first and foremost, make sure the 2 blog posts that you already have up are doing that. Write a 3rd blog post that also does that. Use ChatGPT. It will help you cut your time, like I want to say in tenths, but it may even be in hundredths. When you learn how to use ChatGPT correctly, it will blow your business out of the water, your productivity out of the water. So 3 blog posts, 5 pins for each blog post, and then start kind of seeing what happens with those. Once you get 5 pins for each blog post, then you can start working on maybe a 4th blog post, maybe working on some other content, maybe Facebook content that leads to those blog posts. If that's where you're selling on your site, then that's where you want the traffic to come. We have been doing a lot of work with traffic lately. If you guys are watching your email, you might have seen that we have the $17 30-day traffic challenge out now in the Get Socially Inclined store. But you probably have plenty of content, plenty of how-tos to work through in Success Club as well. So start there as you need help doing that. But that's where I would start. All right. Does anyone else have something I can keep going on about Pinterest and traffic and blogs and helping Sherry more? But Jate, Riley, a few others, if you want to speak up, I'm happy to help you with something specific as well. Today is all about content marketing, anything from content creation, content brainstorming, content execution. I'm here helping with it. So, The other good thing, Sherry, I want to encourage you, or I want to set an expectation with you. Very likely you're going to put those pins out there and you're not going to see much happen at first. But the good news is Pinterest has a very long life. It can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months that pin lives. So unlike Facebook, where if it doesn't have engagement in the first 24 hours, it's very unlikely to get engagement. Pinterest does not work like that. And it's also wonderful because it's one of the few platforms that wants to drive traffic somewhere else, which is why you have that link there. So if you're trying to drive traffic to your blog, you are very smart in starting with Pinterest. And if you are in the productivity planner niche, if you are in fitness, skincare, I would even say authors. So all of you who are being vocal today, Pinterest is a great place to be. And you can get a lot. You can get a lot of bang for your content creation buck over there. Thank you, Jessica. That traffic challenge, does it have any videos or is it a guide? It is a guide. It is a step-by-step guide. We have talked about creating time in our schedules, which is really hard. We're trying really hard to find some good people to hire, but it's just struggle because there's so much training and onboarding that has to happen for an entity like ours. But we're trying really hard to carve out some time to do like a 30-day live challenge, but it does have steps in it. So it's step by step every day how to do the thing. And there's a lot in there about driving traffic, blogs, optimizing for keywords, using Pinterest correctly, and things like that. So if you are completely in the dark with that, that it might be a very good $17 spent. So, Jate, do you have any resources on how to use Pinterest? Well, yeah, we've done for superfoods. Okay. Specifically for superfoods. So we do so much in marketing, right? And the answer is always the quickest, simplest, most targeted answer. If you hired me, let me tell you what I do. I'm about to give away the secret. If you hired me to do Pinterest for your business, the first thing I would do is go to Pinterest and search moringa powder. Go to Pinterest and search baobab powder, baobab supplements. Go to Pinterest and search holistic health coach. Go to Pinterest and search personal trainer for women over 40. All right. So do those 4 things because those are your 4 money makers. Just in a nutshell, just shooting off the top of my head, and pick like 4 pieces of content that you like the most from the top 20 pins. All right. And then make a list of how you're going to recreate it. All right. That may sound like a lot of work, but start with just creating one. And you'd have 4 boards, right? Moringa's magic, maybe. Maybe you're not going to call it my moringa powder, come buy it. But the magic of moringa. All right. So you have a board. Oh, your sound is out. That's terrible. All right, Jate. Well, that was pretty juicy, I feel. So you might have to go back and rewatch it. But each of those 4 things, moringa, baobab, holistic health coach, fitness for women over 40, each of those 4 things can be a board for you, Jate. And if you're not ready to do boards, just do a single one that says Fit with Jate and have those 4 content buckets. And when you have that inspiration, so you can see what's already working on Pinterest and then adding your own little spin to it, that's where you're really going to be able to create some traction. I'm so sorry your sound is out. I cannot, I can't really help with that. Is this part of the dashboard service? Is what part of the dashboard service? Because you can certainly post to Pinterest with links. So yeah, it will go to, you can post your content to go directly to Pinterest there. But just, hey, something you have to ask yourself, where are you going to drive that traffic from Pinterest? And it's totally acceptable to send people directly to a checkout link. However, every post shouldn't be like that. So you'll want to find some place to send people to get to know, like, and trust you more, which is why we love the symbiotic relationship between Pinterest and blogging. Website and IG. Okay, yeah. So if you're sending them to your website, that's great. Ideally, the whole game to get people to your website is to get them to stay long enough to learn about you so they want to buy from you. So I know it's not the first time you've heard this from us, but you certainly need a blog post or 3 that speaks to your ideal client so they'll stay there. So that might be where you want to start before you really start trying to flesh out a Pinterest game. Because, yeah, okay, so you do have the blog on the website. You got to make sure it's relevant. Take a good objective look. Does it speak to ideal clients? If so, then yeah, 10 to 20 pins for each post, each blog post. And just, I'm not suggesting you put those pins in there. You can pick your favorite pin and one can live on the blog post and you pin it. But the other ones you just post directly to Pinterest and link it, put the link in there to where it goes to your blog. So when someone sees that beautiful pin and it says click to read more or click to get a coupon, and that in itself can be a pin, 25% off a bag of super magical, super clean, super organic, and good for you moringa powder. That will really get clicks over to your website, but you want to make sure you're ready for those clicks. So take a look around your website, make sure that your opt-in is converting, make sure that your blog posts are saying the right thing, make sure your blog posts are about the right topic. Just, hey, you watched us do the Chat GPT stuff. Again, I'll start the way I did with the Pinterest discussion. If you said, Jessica, here's $1,000, please go write me 5 blog posts. Do you know what I would do? I would go to Chat GPT. I would feed it all this good information about your business, things that I know about you from having worked with you for the last 3 years now. I would feed it all of that information and I would say, give me 5 keyword rich blog topics, blog titles that would appeal to Jatay's ideal client. And then I would have it write each of those posts. I would put them in and make sure they had really great H2s and H3s. I would make sure they were between 1,000 and 2,000 words. I would make sure there was a graphic every 500 words just to break up the text and give it some white space and some readability. And then I would go forward making pins. And it's great because once you get that blog post in Chat GPT, you can say, all right, now write me 10 pins, making it easy for you guys here. Write me the text for 10 pins that are going to drive traffic to this blog post. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'll do it for you. So then literally all you're having to do is go create the graphics and plug and post. So that's what I would do. Is that clear? Is your sound back? I really hope your sound is back. Anyone else? want to talk about something specific as it relates to content marketing. I love content marketing in Pinterest, so I'm glad that you guys brought that up. The name of the game is always traffic and keeping people joining your list. So yeah, Jate, I'll tell you that that job that I just described, okay, Jess, I need 5 blogs for this customer, used to be like a 10-day task. And now it's like more accessible than ever. You could do it and do it well in less than a day. So take everything you know, and if you're unclear about a few things, go back and scroll through Success Club and find those ChatGPT trainings, because you can absolutely do so much on a shoestring budget these days without having to, pay the big money. So, let's see. Yeah, I'm glad she asked that question too. Sherry says, thanks for asking that question, Jate. Taking notes. Sherry, do the same thing, because honestly, pretty planners is such a fun niche. I just published one of our, I'm going through, let me see, I'll see if I can get the link real quick. So we have a huge store on Etsy, and we kind of started on Etsy. For those of you who don't know, I just published this bundle on Etsy, and it's Girl Boss quotes. And this was a big planner thing, which is the reason I bring it up. Because what happened is we worked so hard on the Shopify store and getting it just right. And now we're backing into, sorry, I'm taking a little sidebar here to tell you guys what's up with me. If you're still watching and you would like me to discuss something specific as it relates to your business and content marketing, just put it out there in the chat. I will certainly come back around to it. But when you talk about beautiful planners and things like that, I love that content bundle. So what a big project for me this week is to bring our Etsy store in line with our Shopify store, which our Shopify store is like not to toot my own horn, we have worked our tail off on it, but our Shopify store is like a 10 out of 10 right now. And our Etsy store, even though we started on it, we've now just kind of backed off it to where it's a tripwire, kind of a clout type thing. So now I'm trying to bring our Etsy store up from like a 3.5 out of 10 back up to like a 9 out of 10. So I just published that bundle and I was like, man, this is such a good bundle. Every time I look at it, every time I go in and refine it or update something about it, I'm like, that is for any business that has like a woman clientele, which when I think of pretty planners, I feel like it's a pretty sure bet. I mean, it's kind of vague these days, but it's a pretty sure bet that your ideal client is largely female, that take inspiration. I'm not telling you go buy that planner. You're welcome to if you want. Just make sure you go find a 50% off coupon somewhere. But use that as inspiration, because those girl boss type quotes with the big typographic, lots of pretty fonts and things with like max 2 colors are so popular, and they really kind of stand out on the news feed. Let's see. So let's see. Anything else? Because we're supposed to end at 11:30. But I know we usually end up talking till 11:45, sometimes 12. But unless anyone has something else specific that they would like me to cover, let me know. Going once. Going twice. As always, if you love what we're doing, we could always, like everybody else, we could use the traffic. We could use your referrals. If we don't have a referral program in place for what you want to share yet, just let us know, or let the person who signs up know, and we will make sure that you get some kind of reward for sharing the love. We are always welcoming new people into Success Club. We're always trying to reach new people with our content shortcuts and solutions. Of course, Socially Sweet has a burgeoning referral program. Go become an affiliate and go message everybody. Your electrician, your air conditioner guy, we have content for them, and we'll give you a cut of it. So, Jate, thanks a lot. Good stuff today and every Tuesday. Yep, we will be back on Thursday this week. It was a little bit hairy, touch and go this last month, but we will be back for Thursdays live on Facebook. Sherry says, good to know. Affiliate, yes. Go sign up. Go make some money. You get your dentist to sign up for a $500 a month plan, which, let's be honest, he can afford. We'll send you $100 a month. Do that for 10 people you know, and that's like some serious cash. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being a part of today's content class / marketing minute, and we will see you around the Facebook group, around the socially inclined environment on the internet, and we will certainly see you next week. Thanks, everyone.